Hi, and welcome to Business Strategy, BUS441 for summer 2019. In this video, we're going to discuss how this class works, what you need to do well in this class, and some important features of Blackboard / this online environment. Now, the first thing you should do is read over announcements. And the first announcement is called Getting Started with BUS441 video, which you're currently watching. So this is the first step. You want to watch this video in its entirety because it's going to contain a lot of useful information to help you do well and help you minimize confusion with this course. Now, the first thing you should do to get started is to review the Blackboard announcement. So we're going to do a walk through this together right now. And then I'm going to show you how to register for the homework manager. We're going to read over the syllabus. You should subscribe to my playlist for this course, and you should start by reading chapter 1 of the textbook. Now, the class doesn't officially start till July 8th, but I'm opening up the class early. If you want to start working ahead of time, you're more than welcome to. Okay, so following down the announcements, the next announcement is how to buy the textbook. Let me make this bigger. Okay, just making this bigger so it's easier for you to see. How to buy the textbook. Now, this is the textbook we're using. When you sign up for my management lab, or the Pearson homework manager, it now comes with an e-text. So you buy the homework manager and it comes with an e-text copy of the textbook. And for a reasonable $99 for both the homework manager and the e-text. You're still able to buy a hard copy, a used hard copy, or a new hard copy of the textbook if you want. And if you do buy a new hard copy from the bookstore, I believe it comes with an access card for the homework manager. But make sure you ask the bookstore manager first before you purchase. Now, if you've decided to purchase the homework manager online with the e-textbook, you can register here at this link. And now you can also, I created a link here called homework manager. That's it. Click on homework manager, and this will bring you over to my lab management. And as a student, you're going to register as a student. And you're going to need an email address, the course ID, and some way to pay for it. Now, important to use your real first name and your real last name as it is displayed in Blackboard or Solar. Because if you make up a nickname or you change your name and it's not the same name in Solar or in Blackboard, you will get an F for the course because I will not know who you are. And I'll see your real name and see no work was done under the real name, and the only thing I can do is give you an F. So when you register, make sure you use the name that is on Solar or on Blackboard so they'll match up easily. Okay, so then once you register for the homework manager, let's just see. If you go to this next step, it's the usual. This is where you put the course ID. So how do you find the course ID for the course? I have it under the announcements. I have it written into the announcements. Enter in your instructor's course ID. The course ID is right here. It's also in the syllabus. So that's what you're going to need to link up to my class. We'll talk more about the homework manager in a little bit. I just want to continue with the announcements, but this should give you all the information you need about the textbook and homework manager to sign up for the course. Now, the homework manager, of course, is going to include all of the homework for the class. This class has no final exam. Instead, it has a series of quizzes that occur at the end of each chapter. So you'll have a series of homeworks to do that involve, sometimes they're fun simulations, small simulations, sometimes they're fun mini cases, sometimes they're a video to watch and answer some questions on. So they're interactive, immersive types of assignments, and each chapter comes with a warm-up and a quiz. So be mindful of the due dates, because I've had a block of assignments to do on 7/21, 7/28, 8/4, 8/11, and 8/18. Now, be careful, because I don't accept any late assignments. So if you feel like you have a week where a lot of stuff is going on, you're getting a new job, you're getting married, you're gonna have a busy schedule with maybe someone's visiting, get your work done early, because late assignments will not be accepted. I'm very strict with that, which you may know from other courses if you've taken any other courses with me. So how is week one going to work? So week one, I'm going to send out an email each week telling you what you're going to what you should be working on. So for week one, you should, of course, watch this video to the end. Read all the announcements on Blackboard more carefully. I just kind of cursorily went over them. You should go back and read them. Read chapters 1 and 2 in the textbook. Watch the chapter lectures. We'll go over that in a minute. Here I give you links to each lecture to watch. Read the cases for week 1 and participate in the case discussion board, and complete the homework and quizzes. Go to My Pearson Lab and Mastering. Or you don't have to actually go to that. You can just press this link here, Homework Manager, to get into the Homework Manager to do that work. Okay, so number 2, let's more in depth go over the Homework Manager. So here is the Homework Manager. So I don't have a student account. I'm going to go in through my account. So where you want to go to is 2 places primarily. Pearson eText. So you can click on here and you get an eText with the textbook. And what's great about the eText is a lot more searchable. So you could search for particular terms or chapters or subjects, and it's a very nice way to read the book. And I think you can get apps to read it on tablets or phones, on computers. So it's a very accessible way to read the textbook. Okay, going back. So that's one area you're going to be looking at. And I suggest reading the textbook before you attempt the quizzes or homework assignments, because there's a much specific information in the textbook that's going to be the homework questions going to be based on. So if you try to attempt the homework questions before reading the textbook, you may not understand how to complete them. Okay, so if you click on assignments, you have 2 types of assignments. Do homework and take a test or quiz. If you just click on assignments itself, you'll get all of them together. So you'll have the due date over here, and then you'll have the assignment over here. So the first one is getting started with My Management Lab, to give you a better idea of how My Management Lab works. And this is a gradable assignment, so you don't want to miss that. And then you go through each of the chapter homeworks, and then finally the chapter quiz. So the first one is generally a warm-up, where you have going to have a series of questions based on information from the chapter. So you get to check your answer, and if you get it wrong, you move on to the next question. So you only get one attempt at these. So because it tells you what the right answer is after you attempt it. So you only get one attempt, so you want to be careful with that. Let me leave that. That's the warm-up, going back to assignments. If you go into the next, here's a video. So this would be watching a video. So you click on the question, and then the question will give you a video link. So you click on the video link, and it'll open up a player box, and you play the video. So you watch the video.
Certified organic bread maker.
All right, and then after you watch the video, you answer a series of questions based on the video. Now, one important thing is you need to disable pop-up blockers. So if you're using the Homework Manager, you may get pop-ups from the Homework Manager. When you click on a question, that's a pop-up. So if you don't disable your pop-up blocker, you may not see the question. So if that happens to you, there should usually be a warning from your browser. If not, you can contact Pearson support, and they can help you work through how to set your browser so pop-ups are allowed. Okay. Let's go back to, here's a simulation assignment where it's going to walk you through a simulation. This is a text-based simulation where...
After a few days of orientation and getting to meet with other managers and employees in the company, what should be Mike's first priority in the business unit? Select an option from the choices on the right.
So it's going to read some text to you. You select an option and you move forward in the simulation. And then at the end of the simulation, there'll be, you'll get scored on your decisions or your process of going through the simulation. So the simulation, the decisions you should be making in the simulation come directly from the knowledge you learned from the chapter. So if you don't read the chapter before you do the simulation and you just kind of wing it and just select what you think is the best thing to select, you may get some stuff wrong. Okay, so let's look at, there's a, let's see, did we do, it's a mini sim. Is this the one we just did? Okay, this is a different simulation. Let me just make this small. So this is another type of simulation that reinforces what we're learning in the textbook. So you read the scenario and you move on. And then as you're going through it, there will be some questions to answer, some decisions to make. So this is sort of taking the strategic management discipline and then testing it out, your decisions out in real world situations. And that's why they're called simulations. All right, and then finally at the end of the chapter, you'll have a chapter quiz. So you get one shot at this quiz, and you're ready, you click on Start Test. And then you'll get a series of multiple choice questions that you're going to complete. Quizzes generally have 25 questions. You don't get instant feedback as to what's right and wrong until the quiz is complete. Okay, so that's the other type of assignment. And then once you're done with your homework or your quizzes, you can go to results, and in results, we'll show you what you've worked on, whether it's been complete or incomplete, your score, your correctness, and then your percentile grade for the course. So the Homework Manager is a pretty good area for organizing our class, different types of class assignments and quizzes for the class. Okay. So moving back, that's the Homework Manager. Now let's go to the syllabus. So we'll move into the syllabus. And, okay. So also there are PowerPoints for, oh, actually I'm going to go over the class lectures next. So let's go to syllabus. So in the syllabus, this is going to include just about everything we're going to go over in the class is going to be laid out in the syllabus. So this is an asynchronous course, meaning that you work on it at what time is best for you during the day. We don't meet together at a specific time. It's sort of you figure out what the best times are for you to do the coursework, watching lectures, reading the chapters, and working on the homeworks. You do have to still complete the homeworks by the due date, but you can work it, at any time of the day that you deem, or during the week, that's best for you. So in the course, and this is, I'm just going to briefly review the syllabus. You should read this over in its entirety. And what we're basically focusing on here is we're focusing on strategy. So we want to work on developing awareness of how companies develop their strategy, what their strategic goals are, how companies do strategic planning, how do they apply their analytical tools or planning tools into corporate strategy for companies to achieve their goals. So strategic people have an interest in enhancing their company's sales, profits, and meeting the goals of the company. So success of a business is measured by the return the business generates. And we can identify key strengths of a business by understanding their competitive advantage, their relative advantage compared to other firms, and the factors that are critical to their success, and how a business can capitalize on these factors of success to improve and enhance their business. So our learning goals for the class would basically be to understand how strategic management works. And we're going to do this by, of course, reading a textbook, watching the video lectures, doing class cases and quizzes, and applying case studies and I deploy the case studies through the discussion board to reinforce or give you examples of strategy. So class time for you would be watching the videos, being involved in the class discussions is our class time. And then your homework is the assignments that you're going to be completing through the textbook, which we went over before on announcements. And this is just more information on how to complete the textbook, including the course ID. Here's the grading scenario. So the chapter homework is 30% of your grade, or 300 points. The quizzes are 50% of your grade, or 500 points. The class case discussions are 20% of your grade, or 200 points. The total 1,000 points for the class, which is 100%. And the percentile will be displayed in the homework manager. So your grades for the discussion boards will eventually be included in the homework manager. So the homework manager will house all your grades for the course and your percentile average grade in the class. Here's a weekly schedule, the chapters that we'll be covering each week. Now, chapter 12, this is not a chapter that we're going to have any homework on, but it's a chapter to read on case analysis to help you with the discussion board questions. So you might find it helpful to look over that. But each week, as each week go by, we're going to be covering two main chapters of the textbook until week 6, where we're covering just chapter 11 due to the double-sized nature of the chapter 11 on week 6. Okay. So let's go back to announcements. And next thing we're going to do is talk about the playlist for the course. So the playlist for the course, if you click on class lecture videos, you'll come to the playlist for the class. And the playlist will incorporate all the videos we're going to be watching for the class. And I highly suggest you subscribe to my channel and the playlist. So if I do post any updates or any new videos, you'll get information on that. And it'll also make it more organized and easy to watch the videos when you're ready. Okay. So the next thing you should do is, after you watch the video for chapter 1, I would suggest reading the chapter. And you can read the chapter before or after the video, that's up to you. So the last area that we're going to go into is the discussion questions. So this is another piece of the homework that you can get started on discussion questions right away. So if you click on discussion questions, what you're going to get is a bunch of forums. So the first forum is just asking questions about the class. So if you click here, I wrote click here because it's not always obvious. This is how you click, and this is where you could ask questions regarding the course. So it's going to be, you're going to see it in this form. So I would click subscribe, so that way anybody who creates a question, if you want to create a question that me or another class member can answer, you can click here on create thread, and you can put a subject. So your question is, when is the homework due? So now this becomes a forum, and me or another student, if you choose to, you can click on here and hit reply, and you say, dude, check. And then at the bottom, there'll be you can't see it, it's be a submit button where you submit, and then that's the answer to the question. So that's the first area. So that's open all semester long. And then we have our casework. So our first casework would be Disney versus Netflix. And this is the PDF. You want to download, by clicking on this, download the PDF. And here are the case questions, 1 through 14, and the articles to read involving the basic information about this discussion group. Once you read the case, then you want to click here, where it says click here, and you're going to answer the case questions and post your answers on the discussion board. Please post your originals on Monday or Tuesday and your replies Wednesday through Saturday. The reason we do this is I want you to post your original responses on Monday and Tuesday to give a chance for other students to read over them and reply on Wednesday through Saturday. So please make 1 original post with your answers and 2 replies to the discussion. So, and this is due July 13th. That's when the discussion closes. For the first week, you have Disney and Whole Foods, both due by July 13th. And then we move into the next week, July 20th. You have 2 discussion questions to work on and so forth throughout the class. Now, when you're ready to submit your answers, you click on the case here, and you're going to create a thread. So when you create a thread, you want to put in your name, and maybe a title, just so we know, something like that. So you always use your name when you're creating the subject, so it's easier for me and the other students to know who you are. And then when you should probably, I'd say the best option is to write out your responses in Word. So you can use the spell checker and grammar checker in Word, and then save a backup copy of your answers. And then when you're ready, you could paste it into the discussion board box. Okay. So here, giving an example of a response. And so what you should do is probably in the first line, put your name, and then clearly label the question you're answering, and even repeat the question I ask so everybody knows what you're answering, and then answer it directly below. So you can kind of just line up your answers real quick here, and then at the bottom, click Submit. Okay. Now, when you go and you're not going to be able to read other students' responses until you complete yours first. Then after you complete yours, all the other students' responses will be lined up, and then you can click on another student. You could read over their response, say, hey, that was terrible. Give them a score of 1 or a score of 5 when you grade. So you can give an overall star rating to the posts. And then you can click reply if you have a particular question or you just want to comment on the quality of their post. And the reply should generally be at least 3 sentences long when you reply of substance, either adding some additional information or posing a question. And this is sort of like, think of a class discussion. We're all sitting in the classroom discussing something. Ideas are going back and forth. People are giving answers and counterpoints. That's what we're trying to simulate here. Okay, so that's how you would complete the case studies, and it's the case studies are built within the discussion board. So not only do you get the chance to answer the questions yourself, read the documents, each case will have its own PDF with the questions embedded in the PDF. You also have a chance to read other students' responses and then reply back on things that you want to talk about. And it'd be really appreciated, I'd really appreciate it if you take the chance to rate other students' posts. It's anonymous, so you won't know who's rating who, but this gives me and other students feedback as how valuable their posts were. Okay, so that's basically the whole class, from syllabus to discussion questions. So each week, just to recap, each week you should go in, watch the lectures for the week, read the chapters for the week, complete the homework and quizzes for the week, and discussion board cases for the week. And we have a lot of interesting cases this semester. We got Disney versus Netflix, Whole Foods, the movie business, Movie Pass, Hollywood and China. This is, we have a case on Amazon, Google, smartphones, the Gap breaking up its companies, Old Navy, Banana Republic. So a lot of topics that I try to pick cases on companies you're aware of and know what their business is to make it a little bit more relatable and interesting. Okay, so I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope you do well in the course, and I'll be talking to you soon.